Alright everyone, we are back. Took a little bit because one of our feature match players was across the street getting Vietnamese food during between rounds, which is a perfectly
Got the time to do it. So.
perfectly reasonable thing to do. So welcome back to round 2 of tonight's Friday Night Magic tournament from South Charleston, West Virginia, Lost Legion Games and Comics. So who do we got for you now? On the left, Victor Vasquez. Victor used to play here all the time. He has a bit of a drive to get here, so he hasn't been coming back. He hasn't been this way in a while, but it's good to see him back in action. He is playing Esper Tokens deck. I believe he borrowed this from stream regular Brett Rose. I'll check that out here in a second. But he is playing Aaron McGlothlin. Right? Is that spelled his name? McGlothlin? Yeah, Aaron McGlothlin, who is playing a blue-white-red mid-range deck. So this should be a pretty good matchup.
He is most likely playing dragons, so I'm good. Let's do this.
I don't think there's any dragons in his deck.
There's gotta be.
But,
that deck is built around Thunderwalls.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna be upset if there's not. If I don't see it on turn 5.
Yeah, so I did mention earlier that we did stream the West Virginia State Magic Tournament a few months ago, or last month I should say. Aaron actually was a top 4 competitor. He was the one I mentioned in the previous round who had played Bant Control, Bant Aggro. So Aaron's a very good player. He is from our Beckley location. The guys from Beckley came up to run the event for us. So that's what he's all about. So let's get into the action here. Victor leading with nothing, which is not uncommon from the tokens deck. It really gets itself going on turns 3 and 4. Aaron just developing his mana base. So these decks should be fairly interesting. Aaron's deck has a lot of sweepers, a lot of ways to remove tokens, and obviously Victor's deck has a lot of ways of pumping them out.
What do you play? Midnight Haunting.
You're yawning already. It's early, son.
Just thinking about how long I'm going to be here.
You don't have to be here. You're more than welcome to go home at any point. But that's the problem. You got a 30-minute drive, and so sometimes you're like, well, I want to leave, but I don't want to drive.
Yeah, I don't want to drive. Not quite yet.
So here we see a turn 3 Geist from Aaron.
That's solid.
It is a very good Magic card. Last week, Chris Harless, the last 2 weeks, another one of our regulars. I feel bad for him because the last 2 weeks he's played in a feature match, and the last 2 weeks he has lost exclusively to that card. Both weeks had the game well in hand and just could not deal with Geist.
Do you think the Geist is better or worse than Thragtusk?
Geist is worse than Thragtusk because you can chump block the Geist successfully and get some value out of, you take 4 damage. I'd rather take 4 damage than leave a 3/3 laying around. So
Have you seen the populate tricks to get an angel type?
I do need to live up to a promise I previously made to one of our faithful viewers and Facebook commenters, and mention that Exalted is a hell of a mechanic. So just shout out to all my Exalted fans in the house. I got a lot of street cred. I don't know if you noticed.
I love your Rafik EDH deck. It's like the greatest thing I've ever played in my life.
It's very good. So we see a Detention Sphere come down, take out the Drogskull Captain, which is the Anthem effect for...
I think the deck runs like 16 Anthems?
No, I think he's playing 4 of those. I don't know how many numbers he's playing, but he's playing copies of those, Intangible Virtue, and Favorable Winds.
So 12. 12 max possibility.
Yep. So, but like I said, both these guys have not... This is their first time playing in a feature match area, so they're having to learn the ways of the life pad. I don't know if you've noticed, but as we see a Thunder... Is that pretty good?
That's the Thundermaw Hellcat.
Yeah. Now, with the Virtue out, they will not... so he takes 11 total?
5,
No,
9, 10, 11.
This game can be over pretty quick, too.
Everyone I told you was a good card? Just saying.
Come on, I knew it's a good card. I'm not arguing with you about that.
It's a dragon.
It is a dragon. That means you like it.
It's the best standard legal dragon they've printed in a long time.
Yeah. There hasn't been a lot of namesake dragons since, I think, what was the last one that was good? Broodmate Dragon?
It would have to be Broodmate Dragon.
Yeah, I think that may be the last one that was any good. And it was very good.
That was very good.
good enough to make it into my cube.
I feel like every so often they decide to print a good dragon.
Mm-hmm. So,
Moonville Dragon. That's mine. If you untap a Moonville Dragon, you pretty much win the game.
I don't even know what that card does.
It is a
so
5/5 dragon.
Anyway, back to the action here. Victor kind of up against it a little bit. He does play another Anthem effect. He is going to get in for 6 there. Drops. That's where we've talked about this multiple times before on the stream. But the token set can really come out of nowhere because it plays so many Anthem effects, and all of its cards are 2-for-1s.
Okay.
So that's pretty good, right?
That's dragon for game.
Good grief. Magic is easy, folks. You just draw 2 Thundermaw Hellkites against your defenseless opponent and smash in for the win. So once again, we have selected a match that they started playing when I had 53 minutes on the clock. I remember because I said it. And they are now done before the 48th minute has expired. So less than 5 minutes on that bad boy, which means we're going to be out there digging for yet another feature match.
Actually, this is a really good matchup for Victor because the mid-range deck outside of Thundermaws, unless...
Yeah, I mean, how many decks? I mean, I know this American colored deck has gone through a lot of different iterations. How many Thundermaws are they playing now? I mean, it used to be Thundermaws in the sideboard, but I see they've made their way into the main now.
And I think it was in Tokyo or something. I don't know where it was, but it came out and it was running 3 Thundermaws and just ran everybody down because it's just a good card. No one has flyers really. The flyers they do have is Restoration Angel, which really does nothing except for help out Thundermaw because you can just revamp it and do it again.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. I never even thought about that until you just mentioned it, which is that you can blink it and then get the tap down again. So I think it was a card that was kind of jammed into that set to combat the Lingering Soul effect, and I don't even think it's... I mean, that's just kind of gravy, in my opinion, like being able to occasionally kill some 1/1 tokens. Because like we've talked in the past, the tokens are very rarely 1/1. Yeah, they're only 1/1 in the third turn of the game.
They're 1/1s with control decks that just get them out there to chump.
Yeah, they're just walls. They're little speed bumps. If you're played in a dedicated beatdown token deck, they're usually 2/2s or 3/3s. But doesn't matter how big they are, if they get tapped down and you draw 2 dragons and you just pound it in there. I don't know if you also saw, but again, Aaron from Beckley, our second Beckley feature player, did you notice some of the bowler cards that he had in his deck? He had lots of foils, including foil on the Hingelands. I don't know if you saw that.
So, I saw one of the mountains.
Yeah, we've mentioned this before, completely off topic. I don't know how it came up several weeks ago. But the guys from Beckley, which is, for those of you not familiar with West Virginia geography, is about an hour and a half here from Charleston, which is the state capital. It's down at it's in the coal fields, it's near Virginia. But those guys down there like to refer to cards as jams. That is their slang term. They always say, got any sweet jams for trade? And they have the sweetest of jams, so they will be whipping out some pretty sweet cards here. So bonus, you get to see good matchup, you get to see 2 good players, you get to see some good decks, and you get to see some shiny high dollar cards.
So I'm trading for some stuff that was how you would say ballerific.
It is. The kids like to say baller time. I've noticed. I've been watching a lot of the MTV, and they've been saying that a lot. Also, I believe it's T-shirt time. Occasionally it's T-shirt time, and the cabs are here. I know all about it. I'm up to date on all the kids stuff.
Most of my slang is inappropriate slang for our Twitter followers, so I'm just gonna...
Yeah, I like to keep it clean up in here.
Try to keep it clean.
Keep it clean for the kids. Again, we thank you guys for watching us. If this is your first time joining us, we obviously appreciate your patronage, and we would definitely love to hear from you. If there's any feedback, you can either jam it in the chat right now, or feel free to get in touch with us on Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook. Just go to ZachSellsMagic.com. That will redirect you, and you can get in touch with us and let us know what you think. What was the question in the chat there?
Nobody. I was just...
You're just pointing at it?
They're talking about dragons, and I'm loving it. So.
Yeah, dragons very popular in the chat. Dragons are very popular in the gaming community. Now is a fun sub-game where we get to see if... Nope. I was going to see, do they know that they can... see, there's a little button you can push to grow to 20. Victor didn't notice it, but Aaron did notice it, so they're 50% over there.
That's solid, because a lot of people... I've watched a lot of people, and that is a terrible dragon. Let's just throw that out there.
Well, they didn't... they don't know what you're looking at, because they can't see that chat. Shivan Dragon. Shivan Dragon used to be, as my friend Ian Nolte was here last week, stand-up comedian Ian Nolte. He used to say I would give my left nut, when I was 14 years old, I would give my left nut for Shivan Dragon. Also Sarah Angel, they interchange. And now it's like literally, it's worth like a quarter. Yeah. It's only worth anything because people like dragons, like you, and they want to collect it.
I would take it from any set
that card. When I started playing in 4th edition Ice Age, Shivan Dragon was $20 card. Sarah Angel was $20 card. Birds of Paradise was a $20 card. So was Savannah Lions.
But those are all fair cards.
Yeah, Savannah Lions is now not even a Magic card. They replaced it with the better soldier archetype. Oh, he's a creature soldier, so that's better. What's his name? Elite Vanguard. Yeah. It's like uncommon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
So anyway, let's quit reminiscing about Magic cards because I'm an old man. We see Aaron drop a Geist. That's going to be problems. Cycling an Azorius Charm out of Victor. He's down a game with his Esper tokens list to the blue-white-red mid-range deck of Aaron McGlothlin.
Any mana that sets his lands to come in untapped. So everything's coming in untapped or tapped right now.
And there we see the Geist, but looks like a Syncopate, a very good Syncopate. I cannot remember, like I said, he borrowed this deck from Brett Rose. I cannot remember if he's running Syncopates in his main deck or not. Yeah, so Sorin coming down when Aaron is tapped out, pretty good. He's going to get a couple activations out of it, unless Aaron untaps with a, that's a Moreland Haunt? It's a foil Moreland Haunt? I'm telling you, they're all going to be foil. Yeah, so.
I guess that's the dream, foil out everything.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, unless there's a Detention Spirit, which there definitely is.
I think he needed to make an emblem there, though.
Detention, the bastard child of Maelstrom Pulse and Oblivion Ring. So gets in there with the Vampire token. Lifelink puts him up to 21. The question is, dragon or no? Yep, he just drew it.
See the 5th line.
He did well.
The 5th thing that has to come in untapped because right now he has no sources to get it untapped.
But even, I mean, it's a very small, in this board state where he's currently getting beat down by a 1/1 life-linking Vampire token, it doesn't matter if he misses his drop. He's still well in this game. More importantly, Victor does have the extra Syncopate in his hand, so as long as Victor plays this...
he's going to play around it. He's got to.
Mm-hmm. Do you let the Angel...
Why didn't he flash it into block? I'm just curious.
Because he's trying to end a turn, because I think he's trying to get him to tap it out.
Did he Syncopate for 3?
Mm-hmm.
He's 2 for 1.
I don't think it matters.
Does he have another one?
Like a boss, rips the foil Sulfur Fold. So here comes Thunder Maw.
It comes untapped.
Nope, he can... Oh, you're right.
He has no lands that...
This is a problem with some of these decks, especially the non-allied colors. All of your entire mana base comes into play. Yeah, but you can only play so many of them.
That's true.
There are limitations in the game of Magic. Four a pop, and they cut you off.
Except for basic lands.
So the question now becomes: will he come to regret that Syncopate? I don't think that he can necessarily play around, and he's not attacking here for fear of another Angel, I guess.
I'd be in fear because unless he has another Syncopate, he could. Or I don't know what else he could really have. He'd have to have a Syncopate or a Dissipate. He might have. No, I don't think there's a Dissipate.
So we see an Unsummon in his hand. We also see the previously mentioned Thunder Maw. I see a Searing Spear. I see a whole heap of business is what I see.
I'll tell you one thing. Aaron is playing around Syncopate.
Mm-hmm. Did he just pass there?
He passed, yes.
Well, I mean, his hand is remarkably worse if he doesn't resolve that Thunder Maw. I will say that.
What is he just...
What did who just play? He played a Judge's Familiar?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which counters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So whether he's intentionally doing it or not, Victor's been representing another Syncopate. The fact that he's played 2, I don't think I'd play around it, and he's choosing not to now. He's just going to jam the... Yep, so just getting some clarification. The Hallowed Fountain came in, tapped. So the Judge's Familiar is going to eat it, right?
Judge's Familiar dies here.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is it 1/2, or is it a 1/1?
It is a 1/1, I believe.
And it will die to the Thunder Maw. Because it pings everything and taps it. So I think one of those moments where you just kind of realize you did.
Well, he's got plenty of turns. I mean,
It's
he's
a
playing.
1-1, so it is.
He's playing O-rings and whatnot. What is that? Is that a Brute-Born Defenses? Is that what that card is?
Did he play that to keep his familiar alive?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, I mean, to be quite honest, I mean, you're up against it here with a Thunder Maul. You're just drawing to your O-rings or detention spheres. If you think it's going to buy you a turn,
yeah,
I think I save it. Well, but now it looks like he's going to attack. Oh, he has a detention sphere in his hand. That's why. So he's going to attack in here, land a detention sphere. And so he's got one card in his hand. Aaron looks like he has two. Might only have one. Cannot tell what the card is in Victor's hand, but I see, is that a Mass the Components, or is that, no, it's a Snapcaster Mage. So Snapcaster Mage, Searing Spear. Well, that's 9 damage right there, in and of itself. Cannot make out the rest of the cards in Aaron's hand, however. Yep, so they did confirm in the chat that it is a, has Root-Born Defenses. So you see Snapcaster come back. Rebuying Azorius Charm. Just digging for answers at this point. Trying to get some kind of clock on board. Both of these creatures are likely going to eat Searing Spears, I imagine. Victor does have, looks like an Intangible Virtue in his hand, but he does have I believe one of those lands is the Vault of the Archangel, so he can attack and pump. Another thing I should point out here is that Victor has borrowed this deck on the night, so he's a little bit unfamiliar with it. So just he should go ahead and sack it to make him pay one more, I would think, which he does. So see what we're seeing at the end of turn here. We'll see a Snapcaster, foil Snapcaster, come down. And looks like the Snapcaster is going to eat a Searing Spear as well. So the 2/2's going to have to go a long way.
I would rather just use the spears to the face.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think if they were token creatures, he probably would, but I don't know. If he blinks a Snapcaster, there's some value. He's not playing Angels, but Aaron might not know that. Intangible Virtue comes down, but I don't think I don't know what the other card he has is. Oh, it's Lingering Souls.
Pretty good.
Yep, so we're going to see the front half of it. The question is he going to play the back half of it? He should have the mana to do so. Someone pointing out that there's no real reason to pay 1 mana when you sack the Judge's Familiar for the Searing Spear, because it's going to die anyway. A very good point. But
did he pay the 1?
It's one thing I will point out that I like to point out every week is that it's very easy to seal the plays when you're watching it.
When I playtested against Brett with the tokens deck, I almost always paid the 1 extra mana without thinking about it when I tried to pillar it or something.
Someone pointed out, actually it was against you in the Legacy event this week, where I did not pay for days that I totally could have paid for. Instead, just cast another Ponder, letting my first Ponder get to. But that's because I'm a bad player. I have a good excuse.
Happened a couple times against me. If it makes you feel any better.
I have a good excuse against that. Someone chat's indicating that it looks like the mid-range deck has the upper hand in this, and I would think that's exactly correct. Though the tokens deck does have more reach than you would think, but I do think he's up against it, knowing the number of sweepers. So we see Moreland Haunt activate. Well, Aaron has successfully removed all of the cards from his own graveyard, which is a fun sub-game to play. So someone's asking for a quick recap of our Legacy tourney. We will mention that. We might get into that after the round is over. But we did have 18 people come out for Wednesday Night Legacy. So if that continues, as we see Supreme Verdict off the top, an excellent draw.
Did Aaron draw it?
Yes.
It's probably a Buy-a-Box promo, isn't it?
No, that one looks like the real one.
The real foil?
I don't know if we got shafted on our Buy-a-Box promos here at the store. I don't know if the other store is in the same group. He didn't cast it. very interesting here to see what he's going to do. Maybe he's just going to chump block here and eat the damage and then hope that Victor overcommits.
That's probably smart play.
I mean, look, you don't get to the top 4 of a state championship by being bad at this game.
That's true. Better than us. Better than us.
Mm-hmm. But being better than me is like, I don't know. The only things that could come to mind were off color, so I decided to abandon that joke. I think it's very interesting. Maybe he's just, his hand doesn't have any business in it.
Those are backwards.
Oh yeah, sorry. His hand doesn't really have any business right now, so he might just be trying to rely on that Snapcaster Mage to get in there. Well, Rootborn Defenses was attempted on the... yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, Rootborn Defenses tried to save the token that he had targeted with Searing Spear. Syncopate came down to counter that, so Victor only got in for the 2. But Magic is easy when you draw Bonfire off the top of your deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bonfire for 6 clears the board, evens up the life total, and I complain once again, why is Miracle a mechanic in Magic?
See, that's why you didn't have to cast Supreme Verdict.
Yeah, he just knew. He just knew it was off the top. Victor doesn't have any Lingering Souls in his graveyard, does he? I think he's already flashbacked. Yeah. But he does have a Milkshake. That looks pretty good.
It does look pretty good.
I mean, even when if you have a Milkshake, even when you're losing, you're winning. That's the way I look at it.
At this point, don't you just kind of bash in and just kind of let life happen?
Are you talking about Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're on a 3-turn clock here. You've got a bunch of business in your hand.
Is he drawing off the top? Or?
Yeah, Victor's hellbent. Oh, he has one card in his hand, but I don't know what it is.
It's obviously something that's
it may be the next Syncopate.
Or Rootborn Defenses?
Victor apparently has a Milkshake on his hand. I did not want to get that on my thing, so I appreciate that. I'm surprised that the chat got to the Kellis reference before I did regarding the Milkshake bringing all of the boys to the yard. I'm very disappointed in myself for not seeing that myself. So Midnight Hunting comes down, it resolves, it's going to eat them because they're 3/3s now.
Solid.
Yeah. So what's in his hand? The Supreme Verdict, and then what's the blue card? Is it another Snapcaster or is it a?
You think it? Whoa, why's he double blocking?
I'm not sure.
There we go.
He got there.
It is a new deck to him, so we'll just.
So he's going to gain. He's going to 6 life. Bumps back up to 12. But both those tokens are going to die here, I would imagine.
And to answer Pitchfork's question, yes, it should be exiled because it did get taken away by Syncopate.
Oh, the Rootborn Defenses?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep, so we see a Snapcaster come down, and it's flashing back the Bonfire of the Damned for 3, which clears the board, leaving only a Supreme Verdict in his hand and a Snapcaster on board. But see, this is the power of the tokens deck. If he draws a Midnight Haunting, or if he draws a Lingering Souls, obviously he's the best draw. I mean, he just explodes onto the board. At this point, a Lingering Souls is 12 power of flyers. Yeah, someone also mentioning that Victor put the tokens in the graveyard. Yeah, I mean, we see these things, but for the love of God, give him a break. This is not the finals of a Pro Tour, but he figured it out there. So, Victor's the top of his deck not being kind to him, as we see a Syncopate from Aaron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Deck runs 22.
Yep. It is a part of Magic. Variance is obviously part of the way it goes. Game far from over, but we do know that with the Supreme Verdict in Aaron's hand, and more importantly, all of his own lands and a Syncopate, it's very unlikely that anything is going to resolve for Victor. And in this case, the Moreland Haunt token. Oh! What do you see with Syncopate? 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Surely that's enough, right?
If he wants to tap out.
Yeah. So he's got to pay 9. He only has 6. 7.
Okay, but if he draws a Lingering Souls, at least he can resolve it and get the Supreme Verdict out of his hand.
Well, he is drawing off the top. It has to be a Lingering Souls. It has to be a Midnight Haunting. Oh, he's not dead. He's dead to a Snapcaster. He's dead to a Burn Spell. But he's not dead to that Supreme Verdict or the Geist that he just drew. And he won't even play the Geist. He'll just pass the turn and...
pretend like he's holding something nice and nifty.
Well, he's just going to wait. Well, you might play it. I don't think I would, but...
He is.
No, actually you would, because I don't know if Victor's playing Sweepers. I know there are Supreme Verdicts in the sideboard, but I don't know. So he draws an Azorius Charm, so he's going to have to cycle that, I figure, just to try and dig for something. And that something is it another Azorius Charm, or is it Detention Sphere? Detention Sphere isn't any good. Azorius Charm will just dig him to possibly another answer.
I think it was another Azorius Charm.
Mm-hmm.
It was. And...
Intangible Virtue? Yep, and that's it. So we see the power of Bonfire of the Damned. We see in Game 2, we see the power of Thundermaw Hellkite in Game 1. 2 mythic red cards take down this match for the blue-white-red control deck.
And you said dragons were bad. Nobody.
Yeah, dragons for the win. Brandon Hart is a happy boy. Congratulations to Aaron McGlothlin. He moves to 2-0. Victor down to 1-1. Still drawing live. Again, I don't think we're doing a top 8 tonight because of the delay, because of the number of people. I believe we are on 5 rounds, prizes awarded by standing. So that's how we used to do it back in the day.
How do you feel about that?
I don't really care because I'm not playing. I understand the situation, so it is what it is. We will cover what magic is available. More importantly, if you are enjoying our stream, we appreciate the fact that 105 of you are watching us, although they're dropping like flies because the round is over. That's the way it always works. But let us give back to you a little bit. That's not it. That's me trying to ask you for more stuff. That is the viewers. We're on 99. We've topped off, I think, at 106 tonight. Our record is 140, so feel free to go tell everyone you know to watch. More importantly, if you have been watching, we start all of our games here on the Future Match area with a copy of Rock, Paper, Scissors from Unglued. If you want to start your games that way, it's a fun, sentimental piece. It's a great conversation starter. If you would like your own playset, it's very simple. We give them away every week. How do you win? You log on to Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, you can make one. It's free. Just deal with it. I did have someone give me a hard time about how it was biased against people who don't have Twitter, and my response was, I didn't really care. I can't please everyone, but you go to Twitter. My handle, just like it is everywhere, Zach Sells Magic. Follow me, and then retweet the giveaway announcement, which I will make during the next break. So you need to be following me, and you need to retweet that. Next week, I will draw for a winner. This past week, because Travis Wu was streaming his Epic Experiment playtesting up until about 9 o'clock at night, there were only 3 people that participated in last week's giveaway. So rather than just draw from a list of 3 people, I will put them in multiple times for next week's drawing, and then we will draw again next week. So
can you do it on Facebook as well as Twitter?
You cannot do that giveaway on Facebook. You can do a giveaway on Facebook and win yourself a copy of a promo Restoration Angel, which we will be talking about later on. And we'll also be drawing for that giveaway. 25 people signed up for that this week. But as Brandon mentioned, we do have a giveaway on Facebook as well. But for the Rock, Paper, Scissors cards, you need to go to Twitter. Like I said, I will make this tweet here shortly after the round is over. And we will make that drawing. So we'll draw for that next week. We can't do that this week, like I said, for lack of participation. But we are giving cards away. You give us viewership. The best we can do, or the least we can do, is give you some freebies. I want to take a quick break here. Please do not go away. I'm going to step out and see if I can find you another match to move. Okay, everyone, so we are back. Tonight has been a very weird night because both times as I switch over to Studio Cam, tonight has been a relatively weird night. Oh, look at that. I brought in the Scarlett Johansson thing because for whatever reason the shop has all these Avengers cutouts, like they're everywhere out there. So I thought that would be funny, and then I conveniently put it up so that it was just the most inappropriate. But so I'm here with a cardboard cutout of Scarlett Johansson, and tonight's been a weird night because every time I go out there after our first feature match is over, then everything else is. Everyone else is either right at the end of a very grueling Game 3 or already finished. There's a lot of people ending quickly tonight, so unfortunately we're not going to have another feature match for this round. However, someone did ask earlier to talk a little bit about our Legacy event. On Wednesdays we've been having Legacy tournaments here at the shop. This is the second one we had this past Wednesday. The first week we did it, 2 weeks ago, only had 8 people show up. But for it being a new format in the area, obviously we were thrilled just to have a tournament fire off. This past week, we had a very good turnout. 18 people showed up. A lot of different decks, a lot of different player levels, a lot of new players, and a lot of experienced seasoned Legacy players. So it was a pretty good turnout. We were excited about that. Information about all of our events can be found on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ZachSalesMagic. Or just go to ZachSalesMagic.com. It will redirect you there. But let's talk a little bit about the Legacy event. It was won, or at least it was chopped. The top 4 chopped by blue-white Miracles or blue-white countertop, depending on how you want to describe it. It's very similar to the Caleb Durward deck that he top-8'd the Star City event last week with. It relies on Energy Field. It relies on the Rest in Peace combo with Energy Field to basically create a soft lock. It also has the countertop soft lock in it, which is a real bear to deal with. Not my type of deck, but very good. And then finishing you off with Jace or a Snapcaster or something like that. So that chopped the finals with a burn deck, our own Michael Taylor, I should say, with a burn deck, the Miracles deck played by Kenny Hughes, which is from the next shop over down in Huntington. Also in the top 4 were another copy of Burn from Brett Rose, and Joe Lewis's Dredge deck with Lion's Eye Diamond Dredge also made the top 4. So it was an excellent turnout. We streamed the first one, the 8-person event that was on a couple weeks ago, but the problem is that a lot of our players are new. At that point we had a relatively low turnout. A lot of people were borrowing decks, so the plays weren't necessarily optimal because people were unfamiliar with the format, unfamiliar with the cards in their deck. So it ended up not being the greatest of coverage. It was also an all-dredge finals, which is basically the worst thing in the world to watch. If you want to check that out, it's on our YouTube archives. Like I said, it was from two Wednesdays ago. I don't remember what the date is, but you can just search for Zach Sells Magic is my username, and search for Legacy. You should be able to find it. But if we keep getting 18 people, if we keep getting there was a copy of Show and Tell Omniscience. I was playing Show and Tell Hive Mind. There's a couple copies of Burn Dredge. There's Death and Taxes, Stacks deck, Mono Black Control deck, a lot of interesting archetypes out there, several affinity decks, so it was a very broad base. So if we start getting that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? That kind of variety in all of our deck archetypes, and we start seeing some top-tier play, and if I can convince myself to sit out a week and come in here and broadcast it, we will stream that live. Now, the problem is that a lot of times on Wednesdays, that's when your pros typically stream. That's when a lot of your big hitters usually stream. At the same time, we would be having that event, so it might not be necessarily worthwhile or whatnot, but we will soldier on. We will do it even if it's just 20 or 30 people. We will try to do that. So look for that in the future. If you want more information on that, like I said, keep checking us out. Facebook.com/ZachSalesMagic. I take a lot of pride in putting something up there every day. So if you want to see there's interesting links to news articles. We do highlight of the week video from our FNM coverage, links to other videos, other interesting things like that. Also, after every week, I do a recap. Anything that we've talked about here in the chat or in the commentary, we have a post about that. And then, most importantly, the deck list. Every time I have a deck list that's available, one of the guys will put together for me. We do get a lot of requests for that, and then I always put those up on the Facebook page. So definitely check us out on Facebook. And a lot of people have asked in the past. We have a lot of consistent viewers. A lot of people have been with us since the beginning. Like I said, I think this is our 11th week of doing this, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. But we appreciate your support. Jonathan Wright, we're now joined by Jonathan Wright. You can sit next to Black Widow there.
You can see your face.
I know I didn't have enough room. What was worse is when I first came in, I had it like so close that it was just the boobs. It was the most inappropriate. But she'll be back there until somebody opens the door and blasts it. But I'll get with you in just a second here, Jonathan. But I was telling the fine folks at home that if you want to support us, people have asked in the past how they can do that. One of the biggest things you can do is just go on our Facebook page, like the page, share the statuses, interact with people there. You see it. It goes on your timeline. Your friends see it. They might play Magic. It kind of spider webs like that. So that's the best way we can reach people. And like I said, if you do want information about the stream and any of our other events, check us out there. Also check us out on Twitter and then subscribe to our YouTube channel. All that stuff doesn't cost you anything. You get free Magic content. Hopefully you're having a good time. We have a good time doing this. Jonathan, you having a good time?
Yeah.
You 2-0 out there? No. What is your 1-1?
Rakdos.
Rakdos. Who are we playing?
Ashley Kid.
Okay. There are several Rakdos decks in the field. They're like, obviously it's one of the easier to put together decks, but there is nothing wrong with the turn 2 Rakdos Shred Freak. You gotta find those Thragtusk, man. Where were your Thragtusk at? Did you play Centaur Healer? Jonathan also playing green-white mid-range. We could talk about your deck a little bit. We were talking earlier about Joe. Joe gave us a deck list. He's playing the same archetype as you.
He's a little more on the heavy side.
Yeah, he's playing basically a control version. He's playing two... He's playing Restoration Angels. He's not playing Angels of Serenity.
Oh, okay.
I think that's for his Junk Reanimator deck. He has two. But he was playing Armada Worm, and he's playing Garrick Relentless. He's playing 2 copies of the Fight Bear, Ulvenwald Tracker. Yes, sir.
Found it.
What are you looking for? Uh-oh.
Prize support.
What about it?
Joel needs help.
Joel needs help with prize support?
Yeah. Whenever you get a chance, dude.
Okay, I'll be out shortly. Yeah, he just needs it by the end of the tournament, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come talk to him in a second.
Right on.
Okay, as we were visited there by Aaron. Like I said before, just a brief aside, sorry to change subjects, but our usual shop manager, it's his 1-year wedding anniversary, so congratulations to him and his wife. They are off vacationing, as they should be. You should have some nice weather. It's very, very nice. After the snowstorm, we're back to 75 degrees. It's like spring in here. But he's out, and the wheels are kind of falling off. We started about, 45 minutes late?
Wow.
And the tournament is a different format than we usually do, as we're not cutting. So a little bit of growing pains there. So what they are going to be a little bit upset to learn is that I am not a tournament organizer. I'm just a weird guy with a beard and a webcam. So
Just let y'all know the last match just finished up.
so we are almost ready for round 3. Excellent. So I've successfully killed all the time in here. It was just me talking for a long time,
Really?
and surprisingly, not many people have left because they love the beard. They love Scarlett Johansson.
Right
94.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. When you're not here, I know you do work on Fridays a lot, but when you're not here, I heard rumors that you watch on your phone.
Yeah. All the time.
Good to see dedication, both on the play mat and in your place of business.
I work hard. I can sit there on my phone Fridays.
I will not mention where you work, just so you do not, in case you don't want to. But anyway, we do appreciate everybody who's watching us. Like I said, 94 people. Our record is 104. We usually get a lot more people towards the top 8. Simply as it gets later, people are have more free time. But yeah, let's talk just briefly to finish up about your deck. You're playing green-white as well. Joe's a little bit heavier. He's more on the control side of mid-range, but you're a little bit more beat down. You are playing Strangleroot Geist.
3 of them.
Yeah, which is obviously a very aggressive card. You're playing Thalia's main. You're playing Rancors. You're playing Gavity Township. Anything else different about your deck? You're playing Loxodon Smiter as well. How many of those are you playing?
3 of them.
So you're playing 3. He's only playing 2. He's playing Elvish Visionary.
Is he?
Yeah, but that's the card that really
He's
makes
not
it.
playing all the mana dorks either.
He's playing 7.
That's fine.
Yeah. So he's his basic logic was there. He wants to go. It's a fairly aggressive room out there. He wants to play a little bit slower. Plus, a lot of times with turn 1 mana dork, you're going turn 2 3-drop. So your 2-drop is really not that important. So you can get value out of it later with the Restoration Angels, I guess. In the world where that's the best thing you have to blink.
Is he playing Silverblade Paladin?
He is not. Are you? Okay.
Yeah,
And you're also playing Wolf of Your Silverheart, right?
Yeah, 1.
Okay, so because we were talking about that earlier, it's like Brandon was giving you a hard time. He's like, "You're not playing Silverblade Paladin. You're playing Wolf of Your Silverheart. Have you ever bonded the two and seen how that goes? Because it does make an 8/8 double striker. So very interesting. So unfortunately 1-1, but that just means you win out and go 4-1. You know, you can live the dream. And more importantly, we can all live the dream with a round 3 coverage, which apparently is starting. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to step out and see if we can find you another match. So stick around. We should be back in a few minutes with the 3rd round of tonight's Friday Night Magic.